Hi there. So let's talk about the Carlton Football Club and the astrology for this weekend because it is particularly magical. Now, as a side note, Carlton are an overall Taurus energy team, so keep that in the back of your mind. We are currently experiencing a really rare Taurus energy, okay? We are having a Jupiter and Uranus both in Taurus conjunction, and this alignment is running from April 20th until April 26th is where it will be at its peak. So with these big alignments in astrology, we see the effects of those alignments a few weeks before and a few weeks afterwards. So not only does this conjunction start a new 14-year cycle, we also haven't seen it since 1941. So there is this underlying historical context when we look at 1941 in relation to Jupiter and Uranus. And you can go back and have a look. I won't ramble on about it now, but there were a lot of upheavals leading to some very transformative changes in gender norms and also in the global economy. So if you're a history buff, make sure you comment below or go and have a look yourself. It's very interesting. So we are kind of in this challenging perspective right now to be able to harmonize changes and find comfort in them. Taurus, comfort, okay? We are also, really experiencing a shift of transformation with Pluto moving to Aquarius. So there's big energy here that is pushing towards transformation. Now, we do have an emphasis here with this Taurus energy on feeling safe within ourselves, staying grounded, and understanding that being grounded is really important in periods of expansion and change. There is an importance of maintaining a connection with our physical experience as well, and also of just being aware of our nervous system responses in relation to change, in relation to upheaval, okay? So it's the idea of learning that being grounded is what actually enables us to navigate these moments of stress and turmoil. And this is what this conjunction energy brings up. And it really is about understanding that our future is built in the present and that the choices that we make now, the energy that we use now is what actually creates the future. So we really are being inspired under this energy to sort of acknowledge and align with our authentic selves, and that restructure is actually what leads us towards living our personal truth. So the Taurus energy being really prompted by that overall energy is also because Jupiter is about luck, expansion, taking risks. Uranus is about revolutionary change and adapting to lightning changes that may come up. Now, a lot of the Carlton team have this Taurus energy across their chart where they will actually be being extra empowered. So the overall energy of the whole Carlton team is Taurus. And then I'm just gonna grab my little list. We have people like Matthew Kennedy, who is really being activated in the way that he uses communication and his mind. He is going to be able to feel a lot more empowered with this energy to use the way that his mind thinks and gives and receives information to create this balance across his relationships and partnerships, which of course is what an AFL team is. Then we have Corey Durden, and his chart, he has 4 Taurus placements in his chart. And one in particular, very important, is the masculine energy placement. So he is going to be feeling very empowered this weekend. He is also an Aries placement, so he has Matthew Kennedy is the same. So they've both come out of this really extreme, explosive, powerful, stand in your own power eclipse energy as well, and now they're being supported to really step into themselves and become grounded and really using this energy to push them forward, particularly when you see it in a Mars placement, which is the masculine energy, which is the energy of AFL. We have Tom de Koning as well. Now he has his Jupiter in Taurus, so we are dealing with this conjunction that does have a Jupiter in Taurus, and He is also a Cancer sun, which is ruled by the moon, and the moon is also just in its full moon. So he is really being empowered to see the hidden parts of him that are actually a superpower. So I think he will also have a really great game. We have Matty Cottrell as well. He is being really empowered as well. He also has that Taurus in Jupiter. He also has a Taurus placement in Saturn, and Saturn has also been making moves in regards to dishing out the good karma for those of us who have progressed on our future path the way that we should be heading. And if any of the last few matches that we have seen Matty Cottrell play are to go by, he's very certainly being handed some very good luck. So he will be very helpful as well this weekend against Geelong. Brody Kemp and Elijah Hollins have got some amazing Taurus energy as well. They are both sun sign Taurus energy. They both have a Mercury in Taurus. So the way that their mind works and their ego self and how they shine their light of who they are out will be very empowered this weekend. We are also in Taurus season, so the sun is shining its bright light on all of these Taurus placements as well, including that, again, that overall energy of Carlton. Now, we also have Jordan Boyd and Sam Walsh. Sam Walsh I've rambled about for many times. Now, he is going to be in a very interesting place this weekend, being a lot of Cancer energy across his chart in 5 separate placements. So that is going to be ruled by Scorpio, because we are just in a Scorpio full moon. Now, Scorpio energy is very much about death and rebirth. It's very much about being intuitive. So I think with all of that energy and this Taurus energy empowering his rule structure, which is what it is that he has learnt through this last eclipse portal on how to adapt his rule structure so that he's not pushing himself too hard, he is going to be very empowered this weekend. He has a Jupiter placement in Gemini as well, and Gemini just got let out of the Mercury retrograde prison. It will be tomorrow. So all of his placements are actually going to be quite empowered this weekend. So I think if we saw him playing very well last weekend, we can expect that, if not more, this weekend. Mark Pitnet as well. He is a Gemini, so he has come out of that Mercury retrograde slowdown as well, and his Taurus placements are in where his mind is and his masculine energy. So I think we can really see him really being pushed towards the idea of being part of this team. He has his overall purpose here. One of his purposes written in his birth chart is actually through building relationships. And so I think the more that he gets this opportunity to show what he can do for us as a team, I think it's going to empower him even more. He does have some underlying nervousness when it comes to building relationships and how he shows up in them. So with this energy, this overall Taurus energy really bringing everyone into their comfort, into their sort of team space, I think we're going to see some really great things from him as well. We also have Jackson Binns as well. Binns, I can never remember how you say it. Apologies, Jackson. But he is very empowered this weekend as well. So if he gets those feet on the field, he's got some fantastic energy that we could use. He got Taurus across his ego self, his mind, and his relationship building, and really will be being empowered to become part of that team. And his masculine energy in Gemini being really let out of that retrograde slowdown. So that's fast legs. We've got a few Gemini placements across there as well who are also kind of being released from this slowdown. So we're going to start seeing a little bit more speed across a number of these players as well. But this Jupiter-Uranus in Taurus is very powerful for the overall energy of Carlton, being that it's Taurus energy, and that it is really helping all of us to understand that it's from our own self and our own personal truth that we find comfort. And I think you can look back at the journey that Carlton have been on so far and really see that they are coming in. The more they play, the more into that energy they get of this comfort in each other, in understanding what everybody has to give, finding their place within the family environment, and really working from that, being hard workers. Taurus energy being that put your head down and do the work sort of energy. So just a little interesting thing I found in the rabbit hole of this Taurus energy. So I went back and looked at the last time we experienced this Taurus conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus, and it was in 1941. And very interestingly, there is some interesting things in the little 1941 Carlton Museum. So the 1941 season was actually dominated by Carlton, Melbourne, Richmond, and Essendon. Okay, so Carlton did not lose 2 games in a row in 1941, the first time we saw this energy. So they lost in round 2 and round 13 to Richmond. They lost in round 8 to Fitzroy, and they lost in round 11 to South Melbourne. Interestingly, Lions and the Swans. Okay, Richmond not doing very well with that Aries eclipse energy. They are an Aries team, so they haven't really come through that very well. But the Lions and the Swans are an interesting energy there as well. Now, also, Carlton, they were so competitive in 1941 that they, even on their losses were all less than 7 points. So, very interesting. And so the semi-final was Melbourne. Now, Melbourne are a Taurus energy team. And Carlton. So, Melbourne 109, Carlton 82. So we lost to Melbourne. We got another shot at the grand final because Carlton finished first on the ladder in 1941. They got to play Essendon, and Essendon won by 25 points. Essendon are a Gemini team, and they've had a very interesting few games as well. So Carlton came third in 1941, didn't lose a game by any more than 7 points, only lost 1 game, didn't lose 2 games in a row. So 1941, which was the last time we had this Jupiter-Uranus in Taurus conjunction, fared very well for Carlton. So it's very interesting. This side, obviously, I have rambled a number of times on things like the curse energy, having to rebalance, having to really fall into this Taurus energy of family, of comfort, and seeing that the transformation that has taken place across all of the players individually, that has allowed them to step into this really nice team energy, particularly with Daddy Voss there leading the way, with his energy being a really huge factor across how this team comes together. There are many players across the Carlton team who have a matching energy to Daddy Voss, and the fact that he is this huge masculine force, that this very respected, very thoughtful man, that energy that he projects, that we all see him project, is very important for, I would say, most of the players on the Carlton team. You can look at some of the newer players who've come in who very much need his energy in order for them to be at their best, and you can see the changes in some of the other players with the way that they relate to him, and his energy also very important here. So he will also be quite empowered himself this weekend, being that we are in a Scorpio full moon. So the moon is at its fullest, at its brightest. It is really shining a light on places within us that we can use for power, that we can transform into power. And Daddy Voss, being the Cancer energy, he will be able to tap into that power and find things that he may not even was aware that he had hiding there to tap into. So very interesting energy this weekend. So Melbourne and Port Adelaide are the other 2 Taurus teams. So it'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. And yeah, let's hope this Taurus energy and this luck that we saw in 1941 with this same Taurus energy for Carlton helps them get across the line. The energy is with them. I have also done a look at Geelong's team. Now, they do have a fair bit of Taurus energy across their chart, but a lot of them, it is being activated in their karmic lessons. So that not quite as positive as the Taurus energy that we see inside of Carlton, which is more about their masculine energy and the way that their mind thinks. There are a lot of players on the Geelong team who are actually being sort of sent more inside of themselves with that Taurus energy, and also with that Scorpio full moon being present in a number of the players' birth charts in relation to their underworld. And when we see Pluto in the placement of the underworld, or Pluto in a sign that represents trauma, this sort of full moon shines light on that. So from my perspective, looking across the charts, Carlton are really being empowered to step further into their power as this team energy, this let's fight together. And Geelong's players on an individual level could very much be looking into the sort of their darker natures. So not as positive an energy for them to be tapping into versus the Carlton team. So let's see how it plays out. Of course, I'm going to say it's Carlton's game. I think that astrologically and as a fan. So let's hope that the universe has decided that it is part of their journey to win this weekend against Geelong. And let's remember something actually that Terry said this week on Blue Abroad, which was his nervousness about making sure that he's not coming out overconfident, which is very important for the balance of the Carlton energy, that we remain confident and not in our egos. So with Carlton really playing like the best team that we have in the whole competition, I think we need to stay confident, but we need to stay out of our egos. So if you want to have a look at this energy on a more personal level of your own, I do birth chart readings and astrological counseling to sort of go through where you can tap into this energy that we are currently having. So make sure you check out my website. And as always, stay weird. Go Blues.